I mentioned the selflessness of giving Haji the penalty kick in that moment. Not needing the spotlight and not needing to score the goal, wanting to put his teammate in a great position, and that's Christian. When you have leaders like that, you're lucky. So we talked to LFC. He's just overrun a little bit. We wanted to cool him down. Yep.
Jonathan Tannenwald, to your right.
Thank you, Michael. Greg, your verdict on Brendan Aronson as an 8 tonight, and also Yunus Musa, who wasn't always in the spotlight, with the goals and such, but a really good passing performance tonight and some good defense.
I thought he was excellent. When you play the 3-2-2-3 type of shape, if you have a guy deep that can take people on the dribble and break lines dribbling, it's really valuable. Yunus, yeah, and he did that a number of times tonight, and it was really. Once again, he was gassed. He hadn't played 90 in a while, but he hung in there and did a really good job. Regarding Brendan, I was impressed. I really was. I thought he gave us energy. He gave us bite. He won some good duels. To arrive in the penalty box like that on Christian's play that he ends up scoring shows great effort and tenacity. So I think he did good. It was nice to have that many skillful players on the field.
Jeff, to your left.
Greg, I was wondering if you could just give us a critique of the center backs tonight, especially Aaron Long going 90 minutes. And then you guys did seem a little vulnerable on the right side, especially in the first half. What did you chalk that up to?
I think it was left and right side, to be honest. And sometimes, the center backs, they got a good cross in the second half. We were out of position. For me, it was about how quickly we could release to their wing back in the first half. Hakimi had too much time on the ball. Anthony was a little bit late releasing. I think at times our back line was too deep, gave the opponent too much space. And in the physical battles, I think at times we got dominated on our back line. Aaron, is a high-quality player, and I think he's going to use this as a learning experience because it was a good opponent, good forward. The guy's scoring a ton of goals this year, and he got really physical. But for us, it's about team defending, getting pressure on the ball. It makes it a lot easier for the center backs.
Grant in the back.
Hey, Greg. We've seen a couple times now that Christian's first touch is pretty special. In the Panama game, the goal that he scored, that first touch, the one he took tonight right before the first goal off the pass over the top. How special is that skill and that ability of his on the first touch, and just his ability to show that much poise inside the box in that moment and then drawing the penalty later?
That's what separates really good players from great players. The ability to take the touch, control the ball at high speed. And, you see when he touches the ball, it's right at his foot. And, a number of guys were like that, right? Yunus was like that. We have a number of guys. Luka has a very good first touch. But the ability of players to control the ball at high speed and change direction at high speed with the ball is what really separates players at the next level. And Christian definitely has that. And it was, again, I think he had an excellent performance, and plays like that where he gets out for the penalty and plays like the assist, really separate him from the pack.
Front row to your right.
Coach, Moroccans said that they view this game as a test to prepare against Canada. Do you think that they have to worry a little bit more after the results today?
No, I don't think. I don't think we're a similar team to Canada. I really don't. We do the same thing, and we said, okay, we're going to play Morocco because it's going to represent an African team. But is it really? I think there's a huge amount of diversity in the continent of Africa and the playing style of the teams. But for us, it was also about playing a World Cup opponent, and that was important. So for Morocco, it was important that they saw an opponent from CONCACAF, and I think the Canada game will look differently.
Brian, second row to your right.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
I can't see with all the lights.
Talking about playing a World Cup opponent, we've spent the last 8 months watching qualifiers, right? Which are just really gritty, intense games that looked so much different from what we saw tonight. What did we see tonight, or what did you see tonight that might reflect anything that might happen during a game with the tactics, with the model, with the approach? once you're in Qatar? What might rip forward?
Yeah, I think there's, you see, it's a game of moments, right? The intensity. I think the weather affected the intensity of the game, right? We went hard out, but it affected you, right? You can't recover as quickly in these conditions. So that was one thing. But I think it's about moments, and we have to be really careful and really deliberate to keep the ball when we can, and really hurt the opponent in certain moments with the ball. And if you see on our second goal, I mean, how long did we have the ball before we scored the second goal? For a while. Yeah. And that's perfect. I mean, just keep doing that, keep wearing them down, wait for an opening, and then play behind. The tempo, I think you need to control the tempo of these games, because there's going to be very little separating the teams at the World Cup. And it's about the teams that can control the tempo and then be decisive in the key moments.
Second row to your left.
Ahmed Talal from 7 TV, Moroccan media. My question will be about Moroccan team. Number 21, Soufiane Rahimi, came in the second half, made the difference, caused the penalty. What do you think in general about the...
It wasn't a penalty, by the way. No chance.
Anyways,
No chance.
So so what do you think about the substitutes that came in? I mean, Harit, and do you think that a star like Hakim Ziyech is important to be in a team? You spoke a lot about Christian. We have Hakim Ziyech that they played together in Chelsea. Do you think it is important to have such stars in a national teams? Thank you.
Yeah, I think that the Moroccan team has a lot of high-quality players. When we're scouting them and looking at their roster, it's a really good roster. You know, these guys are playing regularly in Europe and playing for big teams and big clubs. And for me, it's a difficult opponent. Really happy that we got to play against them. In terms of commenting on specific players, you know, that's not my job. I'm the coach of the U.S. team, and I'm sure the coach knows the players really well because he works with them.
Ibis, front row to your left.
Greg, earlier in the week I asked you about a couple of the guys that were part of that U23 group in 2019, Haji and Cameron. Tonight they both played, and what have you seen from them in camp? How have you seen them improve? And tonight you see Haji, the way his teammates kind of wanted him to win, and what does that say about how he's looked in camp? And as far as Cameron goes, what have you thought of how he's improved over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think sometimes when a new player comes into the group, it's very difficult for them to break in. But what I hear time and time again when new players come into our environment is that they're welcomed and they feel really comfortable and they're in a good position to perform. And that's the most important thing, and I'm proud of that, because I know now is competitive time, right? People are jockeying for positions on the World Cup team potentially, but you don't see it from these guys. You see they work extremely hard, and they're extremely close together as a group, which is fun. Yeah, no, I think that Haji did well today when he came in, and Cam also. We're going to look at the tape more, but you can see that Cam has a different poise than he had when he was in 2019, and that's really good to see. In duels, he looks strong, he's calm, and that's what you want from your center backs.
The Moroccan coach has arrived, so we'll take one more question from Sam.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Sam.
You've talked a little bit about the tweaks, but what was the reasoning behind them going into the game? What did you want to see? And specifically, how did you think the midfield performed? Yunus was flaring out wide to the left quite a bit. Brendan was staying high and to the right. What did you think of those three?
Yeah, did you say, I didn't hear the first part of the question. You said...
Yeah, what was the reasoning, the motivation for the changes to the shape?
Based on what we saw Morocco doing, based on how we wanted to control the game, we think that it's a very difficult formation to play against, to build pressure against. If you want to really commit to building pressure, you have to bring numbers forward, and once you bring numbers forward, there's spaces that open up on the side of the field and between the lines. So, we wanted to use Christian and Brendan in those positions to really hurt the opponent, and then still have three guys high on the back line that could be running behind them and keeping their five pinned back.